Greetings, my friends. Welcome back to Mike Allen from Chicagoland, broadcasting today from the town of Whiting, Indiana. So Indiana makes state number 6 on my quest to visit all 50 states here on this channel, joining Illinois, Texas, Kentucky, Missouri, and Iowa. So glad to be back in the Chicagoland area today. Whiting is just across the border, and I could probably get out of my car and walk over to the south side of Chicago from here, but it is way too cold, and it'd probably take about an hour to an hour and a half, considering the distance from here over across the border. So I'm going to stay here in this warm car and do the introduction because, yeah, it's cold and snowy. We're pretty close to Lake Michigan, so they tend to get a lot more snow in this area. But onto the subject matter of this video, and that is White Castle, America's oldest fast food chain, predating even McDonald's. Now, Whiting is my mother's hometown, and she sent me an article the other day from the Northwest Indiana Times. People of a certain age in this area still call it the Hammond Times, but that's neither here nor there. And in that article, it talked about an old 88-year-old White Castle building being shut down here. And I wanted to go and check out this White Castle before it shut down. So I hope you'll come and join me, and let's get started. Should correct myself. We're probably only about a half an hour walk from the south side of Chicago and roughly a 5 to maybe 10-minute drive. So not an hour to an hour and a half. So just wanted to make that clarification. White Castle opened in 1921 in Wichita, Kansas. So yeah, like I mentioned earlier, predates McDonald's by at least 20 years. And primarily they're known for being in the Midwest and in the New York metropolitan area. I do know that there is a fancy one on the Vegas Strip that I've never been to, but I think if I'm ever in Vegas, I'll go check it out one day. But we're here to check out a old-fashioned gem of a White Castle location. So right here near the corner of 119th and Indianapolis Boulevard is the 88-year-old White Castle building. Definitely don't make them like this anymore. I think the last time I stepped foot in this building was with my grandfather when I was a little kid. He used to come here all the time. Now I'm told that a new White Castle is going in right over there, and you could tell this is going to be a much more 21st century looking White Castle. Gotta evolve with the times, but sometimes I miss what things were in the past. White Castle building from another angle. Yeah, definitely in the shape of a castle, but if you go inside, which I'll do here shortly, kind of looks like an old-fashioned diner. Give you an idea of the proximity. So this is the entrance into downtown Whiting, 119th Street. And then White Castle is right over here. This is Indianapolis Boulevard. This location is open 24 hours, so hopefully they're serving burgers by now. Well, that's unfortunate. The door was locked and they weren't letting anybody in. So even though this place is open 24 hours, I guess we gotta do the drive-thru. Let me see if I can peek in the window and get a look, though, for my viewing audience. Yeah, it's got that old-fashioned diner look to it. I can see why they're closing this place down. It's just unfortunate because these old relics are few and far between. But I'm hungry. We're gonna get in the drive-thru, get something to eat. Currently on a one-way street, so I have to go around the block to get over to the drive-thru, but I guess that means I get to see a little bit more of Whiting and this brick road here and these old houses that were built in the 40s and 50s. It's got that old-time charm to it. That's what I love about Whiting.
Welcome to the castle. Emily, what can I get for you today?
Could I just get 5 cheeseburgers, a large fry, and a large diet?
5 cheeseburgers, a large fry, and a large diet. That'll be $13.03. Go ahead and pull forward.
Thank you. The drive-thru was added several years later as fast food restaurants started becoming more popular, and drive-thrus were a standard part of those fast food restaurants. So in 1935, when this place opened, though, I don't think anybody had ever even heard of a drive-thru. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. You too. I gotta admit, I'm a little disappointed. I really wanted to be eating White Castle sliders and sharing that experience inside the building, not in a church parking lot in my car, but such is life, and we will make do with what we have. So here's my White Castle bag here, and I got myself a large fry with 5 cheeseburgers. I am currently on a diet, otherwise I probably would have done the Harold and Kumar challenge. I've seen that done on YouTube before. Major League Eating champion Matt Stonie, who won the 2015 Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest, he did the Harold and Kumar challenge. That's 30 sliders, 4 large fries, and 4 large cherry Cokes or 4 large Diet Cokes. So I only went with the 5 today and then the 1 large fry. But this is what they look like. They're small, tiny little hamburgers. That's why they're called sliders. Kind of similar to Crystal's, which is in the South. But this is the White Castle slider. What was that line in Harold and Kumar? The onions are like flavor crystals every time you bite into one of them. I would definitely say that's the case. Then the fries are the crinkle cut type. On my second slider now. Well, it's been a couple years since I've had White Castle, and you definitely kind of get that craving, which is showcased in the Harold and Kumar movie. In fact, every time I watch that movie, I get a hankering for want to go and get White Castle. Fortunately, I do have one relatively close to my house. It's about a 15 to 20 minute drive in nearby Aurora, Illinois. A few other locations have closed, but that one remains open. According to Wikipedia, there's 377 White Castle locations, mostly in the Midwest and the East Coast and the New York area. But they're starting to become more national. There's other locations popping up here and there in other regions of the country. Yeah, I think one of these days I'll try the Harold and Kumar challenge. I think my record is 20 sliders in one sitting. I can knock that up to 30 and then add in 4 large fries and 4 large, probably do the Diet Cokes, do Kumar's order. Cherry Cokes is a little too much added sugar. Trying to be healthy here. So when White Castle opened in 1921, the sliders were only 5 cents up until 1929 when they raised the price to 10 cents. These were about, I'd say $1.15 a piece. So I paid a little over $13 for the 5 burgers, a large fry, and a drink. Times have definitely changed. And even as an adult, I still like to stack up my White Castle slider boxes and build my own castle. Yeah, driving down 119th Street in downtown Whiting here sure brings back a lot of memories. I remember as a kid coming here and doing the 4th of July parade right through town. It's probably my fondest memory, is doing that with my family. But yeah, this is a really nice nice downtown, kind of a slice of Americana here. Want to now head inside the Whiting-Robertsdale Historical Museum, which I'm told has some additional information about that White Castle we were just at. So that White Castle was one of the first in the Chicago area. I
believe so.
reading
Yeah.
in
One of the first.
in the
It
Times.
was called number one, wasn't it, for the
Yes,
longest
for a
time?
while it was White Castle #1.
Found some more historic ornaments to go along with the White Castle one.
This is
Just of some
override for the
spots here in Whiting. I think that one is of nearby Whiting Park along the lakefront where you could see downtown Chicago.
So you can leave it. Yeah, when I was growing up,
Commemorative card of White Castle.
2 flat on Roberts Avenue. The lady who was the manager for White Castle, Marge Morovich, lived.
This museum also has a number of old record players and telephones. 1946 Philco radio and phonograph cabinet.
One on the wall, one on the wall.
My grandma had something very similar to this.
A couple others that are in there. That either that we
Old
already
rotary
had
dial telephones here.
Now that's Rudolph Wonder's.
My grandma also had
cash register.
that black
Oh, really?
rotary
This?
phone right there too.
Oh, love it.
Small
Somebody
cameras.
puts money in the top, but it goes into a cash box. Right. But
There's an old wall-mounted rotary phone. And then I think I saw something like this on It's a Wonderful Life. Love looking at all these old typewriters. 1920 L.C. Smith with word processing capabilities.
That.
It's a portable typewriter.
oh yeah.
Remember those?
Where's my
Couple more down here too. Transistor radios. Makes me think of that scene in Major League 2 where the skipper wanted to listen to the game from his hospital bed, so he used a transistor radio with an earplug. Got this table of old toys here, and I was drawn to the Howdy Doody character here. If I can make another movie reference, that reminds me of Back to the Future Part 3, when Doc is woken up to the sounds of Howdy Doody time on the television.
No one's ever seen this before.
There's another thing that drew my attention was this Kodak film box, Kodak Color. As far as I know, Kodak is still in business, but not really sure what their business line is right now. So they didn't have as much White Castle stuff on display as I was led to believe, but that's okay. I still had a very nice time chit-chatting with the folks inside there and checking out what they did have as far as White Castle memorabilia, but also memorabilia from the town's heyday, such as all the old phones and typewriters and things like that. So it was a good experience overall. Glad I went. So thank you very much for joining me today as I embarked on this journey of an 88-year-old White Castle that's about to be torn down here in Whiting, Indiana. A lot of fond memories. I had a chance to talk with some really nice folks inside this museum and got to share my memories of Whiting with them, and they shared their memories with me. Overall, this was a fun experience and really enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed it too. So anyways, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like and subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate it. You can also help me out in other ways in growing the channel. I'll put links down in the description below. I'm also going to put a link in the description of Matt Stonie doing the Harold and Kumar Goes to White Castle Challenge. It was a fun video, and I think anybody who's into competitive eating may enjoy it, but it's an entertaining video, even if you're not into competitive eating. Anyways, this is Mike Allen from Chicagoland, signing off from Whiting, Indiana. I'll be back next Saturday with another video, but until then, don't you go changing.